listening to Waves in the Ocean, a conscious living podcast. Like the ocean, we are all part of the collective consciousness, each expressing an individual wave. In this podcast, we give you the tools to live with intention, reconnect with your true essence, and create more abundance in every aspect of your life. We are your hosts, Lauren and Lauren, best friends, yogis, magical beings, and ascension guides. Our intention is to share our authentic truth and bring on others living a conscious life to create a ripple effect in this world. Let's go on an amazing journey together. Hi, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about probably the most important thing you do on a daily basis.
Definitely.
Which is breathe. We're going to talk all about the breathwork ceremonies. What is your breath? We're going to go into all of it.
All things breath and breath expansion and breath contraction.
Mm-hmm. Like if we were to talk about this a couple years ago, I'd be boring.
Boo.
Who cares, right? But once you start to get into this, you realize like how much these practices and paying attention to your breath can really change every aspect of your life. So tell us, Law, what is the importance of your breath?
Breath, yeah, honestly, it's everything. It truly, truly is. If you really want to go with the importance of your breath, you hear it all the time. It's you can live without food for X amount of days. You can live without water for X amount of days, food, shelter, all of these things you can live without for an extended period of time. But the breath, you have several minutes and that's it. It is this life force energy. It's the prana, it's the chi, you see it in cultures, religions, spiritual communities in general across the globe. Name something different. But when it comes down to it, it's your life force energy.
And that we would not be here on Earth without.
Exactly.
Yes. Us as humans choosing to incarnate in these bodies, we need the breath to survive, and it can give us energy and help to heal and decrease stress and so many things. So what are some benefits of like starting to pay attention to your breath?
The breath is super important because for many factors. One, the way we breathe reflects takes shape in our entire emotional, mental, physical, and energetic body. Because again, we said it's the life force energy. It's bringing all the fresh oxygen in. It's supporting the cellular and DNA level. And when we have clear channels of breath, we are able to connect with the present moment deeper. Our functions as in our bodily systems operate in an optimized state rather than being blocked or clogged or not working at all or failing, right? And it's more clarity in the mind. And there's different aspects where it balances the masculine and feminine energy within your body to make you I don't want to say
your channel.
Thank you. I didn't want to say better.
Balance, balance. Well, I mean, we're better when we're balanced, right?
Yeah.
Because we can go such extremes. But yeah, I love all of that. Tell us a little more about like the masculine and feminine balance. Like, why would you even want to balance your body in that way?
So we have two main channels. Well, three, I should say, and it's represented by the medical staff thing where you see the staff with the snakes going around it. And we have the Ida Nadi and the Pingala Nadi. And then we have the Sushumna running the central nervous system, not the central nervous system, the central canal going directly through the root all the way to the third eye, the crown. So basically your spine, right? And then you have these two nadis. I wish you could, I'm really describing these with my hands right now.
This to be a video.
You have these two nadis that go through, which nadis are just meridians. They're nerve currents. They're canals, energy flows through. They go through each chakra on their way up, and they represent the masculine and feminine energies in the body. And when we are a clear channel, we can use our breath and other modalities to rise the kundalini energy from the root chakra through the central channel, the Sushumna, all the way to the third eye, and have those altered states of consciousness where we meet God, where we have these huge revelations, where you become enlightened, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the left side, the Ida Nadi, it represents the feminine energy, and that's lunar energy. It's coolness, it's being, it's the emotion, the nurturing, the feeling. aspect of who you are. It's the parasympathetic nervous system. So that relaxation, that rest response. And we all have the feminine energy within us. It's been lying dormant for everyone for quite some time, newly to be awakened.
It's perfect though. Just like
Yes.
the timing of the earth and why we're all here to raise the feminine energy. And whether you're male or female, we all have it.
Exactly.
And it's just knowing that as we go through, the other side, the right side, the masculine, you'll see where that can be kind of off balance. We're just Earth has been this masculine dominated society for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And with the new age, the Aquarian age, shifting into this 5D new Earth frequency, it is a time more for the feminine energy to arise, which is more of a state of being and receiving and kindness
to yourself. Key word there.
Where we see the masculine energy more dominant, it's been a lot of like control and power and wars, and it's because the balance has been so off.
Yes. And that's the representation in astrology in the sky as well, because we are in for the photon belt, which is the switch from the masculine to the feminine as well. So it's happening no matter what. So I might as well embrace it.
We keep saying that, right? Because we can live every day like being like, I need to do all this work, or like, and I even do this to myself sometimes. I got to meditate, I got to breathe, I got to journal. I'm like, if I don't, I'm fucking up the path.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be set behind. And it's being okay with knowing that it's happening no matter what. Yes, you still have to do the work, but you don't have to be so hard on yourself to like, I got to take 2 hours every day or else I'm falling behind.
Exactly. Because that is the masculine energy as well. That like driving, that motivation, that doing. And it's looking at your belief systems. And that's what I was contemplating today. It's like the belief systems of even like your dreams. What's driving your dreams? It's still the beliefs of you need to be XYZ to be loved or be seen as worthy? Or is it truly, can you let go of the dreams and be happy just as you are in this moment? And that is that feminine energy coming through, where the masculine energy, which is the right side, it's the Pingala, it is the solar, the heat, the sympathetic nervous system. It's the intellectual, the stimulating, the fight or flight response, the doing, the going, the assertiveness in life. It's the somatic process, which is a lot of our healing journey, right? Is somatic. It's like feeling it and letting it go through. That's still quite masculine because, again, feminine is intuition and being and allowing the universe to just flow in with trust. And masculine is the driven aspect of the energy.
Mm-hmm. And both are needed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the balance of everything in life. Is sometimes we go so far in one direction, like the pendulum, it has to come back into balance going the other way.
Exactly.
And so just as you're listening to this, maybe checking in with, where are you off balance in your life? How can you maybe bring a state of more being or receiving or slowing down into your life? And the breath is a teacher to bring you there. Even doing breath work or doing this myself, you'll notice where you're holding the tension in your body as you watch somebody breathe. It's like, why does it get stuck here? Or why can't I breathe into this area? And I was even doing a breath work one-to-one session yesterday, which I've never done a one-to-one session before. And that was really eye-opening to me because we can think we're breathing, but likely we are not full breathing to our full capacity.
Yes.
It's retraining the body. So I was working one with this woman named Tara, who's really amazing. And she was saying, in all the years that I've been doing this, I've never seen anybody breathe like you. She's been doing it for over 20 years. Like, this is new to me. She's like, I don't know why. Like, you're not breathing in through your diaphragm. And I've been breathing with my pectoral muscles my entire life. I'm blocking my heart. And the breath was a huge reflection of my life. She's like, it's like you're open-hearted, but then as the breath comes out, you suck it all back in and close your heart. So you want to be open-hearted, but then you're scared. And it's all a reflection of how I've lived my life. Like, my inner child is like, yeah, I want it so bad. I'm open-hearted. But like, as soon as someone gets close, like, I'm going to bottle it all up because that's scary. Exactly. And it just shows you. And that's such a reflection of my past and my life and currently working through that, which is a really beautiful process. But I would have never really known that if someone wasn't sitting and watching me breathe.
Yeah. And I'm going to boldly state right here that if you're listening, you're probably not breathing properly.
Yeah, you think you are. I mean, I doing yoga and all the things, but when you're really going through it, like everybody has something.
Yeah. And it's being aware of that because for one, the breath affects every single system of the body. And if you are not breathing in, so majority of the population, I'll say 99% of the population is probably breathing into 30% of the capacity of their full lung. Only 30%. And when we breathe into that, it's that shallow breathing, that mouth breathing. Even when you breathe through the nose, if you are really doing well with that, are you breathing all the way into your lungs that your belly is rising? And that is a difficult one to realize because we're so patterned to breathe in a particular way. And when we have this shallow pattern breathing, our shoulders hunch down, our lungs collapse. We create a stature, like a posture, I should say, that makes the body feel that it's not safe. Because you're doing shallow, low breathing. When you're shallow breathing, you're in past times or in the olden days, or what the body's programmed to believe on the DNA level is that you're in harm. You're being chased by a tiger, but you're breathing that way. Your body feels that it's being chased by a tiger, but the tiger doesn't exist. So we're just constantly living in a state of fight or flight. And because you're breathing, you're signaling to the whole body that it's not safe, and to shut everything down and just release adrenaline and hormones because you're not safe. And when your body's in fight or flight, your pupils dilate, your adrenals go off the hinge. Your body isn't able to heal or regenerate because it's not a safe place to do that in that time. It's the fast breathing, slow digestion slows down or stops altogether. And the relaxation isn't there. And you got to think, you could be living like this in this state because you're creating this state of being through your breath all day, every day.
I would argue like 90% of the population lives in fight or flight every day, all day without even really knowing it because it's so ingrained in us. We see this is how our parents live, how society is. And if you're going through all day not paying attention to your breath, you likely are. The number one hormone imbalance is cortisol, which is your stress hormone. And then that causes a whole other host of issues, like long-term high cortisol will lead to old term for adrenal fatigue, low cortisol, because your body just stops producing it, which I've had both. And hormone balance, a whole nother topic that I could go off on because I've had quite an experience with it, but it's been a very humbling journey.
Yes.
But your breath plays a huge part of your hormones as well, along with when cortisol is off, that will just throw off like your insulin, blood sugar balance, like your sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. And I know those are things that most of us really care about, right? Like everything is better when your hormones are in balance.
Exactly. It's a host of problems. You can have like neck and shoulder pain, difficulty with concentrating or memory, depression, because you're not getting the full nutrients and your body's basically in fight or flight and not regenerating anything across the board, and it's not allowing itself to heal. Chronic pain and digestive issues, like we just said, it's a host. It's like a host.
It's a trickle effect.
Yeah.
And a majority can start from maybe, just working on your breath alone would help to heal a lot of those things and be a big part of your healing journey, because it's all like a holistic model where everything is intertwined. And I was just talking to a client today about nutrition, and she's so good at the physical stuff, like eating well, meal prepping, tracking, working out every day. And she's like, I don't understand why I'm not getting results. I'm like, okay, so you get the physical stuff down, but like, what do you say to yourself every day? How do you breathe? What do you say to yourself? She goes, my patterns, usually what I say to myself every day is, I'm fat, I'm uncomfortable in my clothes, and I'll never lose weight.
Yeah.
So when you have those things, regardless if you're only doing pieces of the puzzle, it all needs to come together of working on like the mindset, the breath, it's so much more than just the physical.
I honestly will easily say right now, the physical is the last part in my personal opinion. Because if your thoughts are so strong and your energy is reflective of that, the physical will fall in line. The physical is the easiest to see and relate to. So that's why we focus on it so much. But it's a small aspect of your being at the whole. You got an emotional body, a mental body, an etheric body, a spiritual body, and a physical body. Mm-hmm. So 20%, if you're only focusing on the physical body, which is 20% of your entire being, you're only going to get 20% healthier.
It's so freaking wild, right? We think, if I just eat healthy and exercise and
I'm going to be good.
I'll be good. I do all the things, but no, it's like your mind and your internal beliefs and feelings and emotional state, your subconscious brain, which rules like 95% of your life.
That's what it is. It's like get your thoughts in line first and foremost. If you really want to make a fast change, it's your thoughts. Because remember that we talked about before, the universal rule, as you believe, so it will be. Legit. It's creating this illusion. It's creating this reality.
Get your thoughts in line and your body will follow.
Exactly. And the breath helps rewire those thoughts. Mm-hmm. When you really start to tune into your breath, you'll see where you hold it, right? Lauren was talking about how she breathes into her
pectoral muscles. Like, and they're super tight. It's a reflection, but super cool. Like, there was so much that came up in my body with that session of just, as she was talking to me, watching me breathe, it was like, you do this, you do that.
Yeah.
Right? Even, but the thing is, you were saying, and this kind of came up for me yesterday, of feeling like we don't breathe because our body, like, and then we don't feel safe, right?
Yep.
But through my ceremony yesterday, is my body never felt safe to fully breathe. Mm-hmm. So that could be a factor too of why you aren't breathing fully, because then your shit's going to open up. Exactly. And then we hold it back because my heart wanted to open, then it would close. It's like, no, we aren't going to go there. So it's like learning to breathe into full capacity can be a scary thing too.
Exactly. And it's challenging and it's hard, especially if you spent the past 30, 40, 50 years shallow breathing. Using your diaphragm and your lung capacity is going to be a challenge, but that's why it takes practice. And a pranayama breath practice is super important. For me, when I was starting out with breath work, mine was, I didn't know how to breathe to my belly. And you think of a baby. Perfect breathers when you're born, right? Mm-hmm. Full, deep belly breaths. You're breathing into the whole capacity of your lungs. And then life gets scary. Chaos comes. You start closing and closing and closing. And then you hold everything in. And for me, a large part of that was, yes, holding everything together, controlling everything together, but also like, I didn't know how to breathe into my belly because of like society in general, the belief patterns around it of like, suck it in. That's all you have to say. Most females, probably men as well. I'm speaking from a female, like the people that I work with, drawing the navel in and up, just squeezing in, fitting in all the time. And that distorts our natural breath function. So when you breathe into your belly, you let your whole lower abdomen relax. And a lot of people don't feel comfortable doing that because they're holding everything together. I thought it was like one of my biggest successes that I was holding. It's in yoga, it's Uddiyana Bandha. It's drawing the navel in and up. And I was like doing it all day, every day. And I was like, oh, my core is going to be rock solid. This is great. Because again, that's the image that gets portrayed to us in society. And yeah, I had really strong abs, but at what cost?
I still think you do.
I know, I do. I do. I honestly, I do. But at me thinking before, I was doing myself a favor, when in reality, just because my physical body was so strong, so in shape. And again, it still is. I really am learning that it's about the thoughts more than everything. But my hormones were all fucked up. We talk about it, or Lauren and I always bring this up. Read my charts. It looked like I had brain damage.
I did. We did a hormone test. I do them for work. And I was like, Lauren, you do this. We're going to get our hormones checked out.
Yeah.
And she did the test. And as I was going through it, the lady was like, I never seen anything like this before. Just your friends have brain damage.
Yeah.
It was like, She is the most unique person I've probably ever met. And I don't think she thinks like anybody else. So
maybe. No.
That could explain it. But then it's probably like, okay, this is what society tells us normal brains look like. And yours just is like off the charts.
Yeah.
In the next 100th D dimension.
Right. 100D. But it's like the nervous system was out of line, and the breath has a major impact on that. So when we start to bring awareness to our breath, for one, that's huge. Just bringing awareness to breath. I can't guarantee you don't know the last time outside of a yoga class that you have brought awareness to your breath, or a meditation class. Guarantee.
Unless you sit down daily and do it like a guided, like breathing exercise
So when I tell people and I work with them, it's bring awareness to your breath. And we're going to talk about some simple exercises like you can spend 2 minutes a day, 4 times a day doing to retrain your breathing patterns. Because when you start to breathe into your belly, when you start to breathe into the full capacity of your lung, you step out of fight or flight. It moves you into your parasympathetic nervous system, that rest, that ease, that relaxation response. Your body can finally start to regenerate and heal itself. Lowers your blood pressure, your heart rate, supports your posture, your chest opens up, your shoulders stop collapsing, your digestion improves, supports the health of your pelvic floor, the lymphatic system, inflammation, manages your stress, helps relieve pain. All of these things happen because your body is actually getting space to finally regenerate. And I'm trying to not say the word heal anymore because we're always constantly healing, but your body starts to feel good and become stronger and more vibrant and vibrate at a higher level than it previously has. And it's all through the breath.
So why wouldn't you want to do this? Right?
Exactly.
And you have access to it every day. It doesn't have, I mean, if you go to a class or one-on-one, yes, you're going to pay for it, but you can breathe every day for free.
Exactly.
It's not like you need to go anywhere or do all these like courses or research. If you want to get deeper into it, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But it's your biggest tool that's with you at each and every moment. So yeah, you want to explain some like easy breath techniques people can start with, or what did you start with, or where would you recommend somebody begins with implementing basic techniques into your day. You don't have to go to a class. I mean, it's great to go to class. I love pranayama classes. Our breathwork sessions that we run are amazing. I wish we could both be teaching it and taking it at the same time. For sure.
But so definitely do those extra things, but on a day-to-day basis, start by bringing awareness to your breath. And if you breathe through your mouth, immediately you need to stop breathing through your mouth and start breathing through your nose immediately. So bringing awareness to that, because when you breathe through your mouth, for one, it's going directly into the lungs. It's not cooling. The nose heats and cools the breath as well. It's not hitting all of the tiny hairs in your nose that signals to the rest of the body. And more importantly, it's not going through the nasal cavity and up to your pineal and pituitary gland, which is who we are. It is our soul, the seat of the soul, and it's not stimulating that for you. So if you breathe through your mouth, really start practicing breathing through your nose. On top of that, breathing into your belly. So for me, it took me at least a week. I was in a yoga training a long time ago, and they were talking about belly breathing. It was a forest yoga training, and I couldn't breathe into my belly. I couldn't do it. I didn't know how to do it. I couldn't do it. And it took me the whole week. I think I was there for 12 days. It took me 7 out of the 12 days to relearn how to actually breathe into my belly. And sometimes I still get caught in those patterns. Like right now, I'm bringing awareness to my breath and I'm drawing my navel in and up. Just because it's an old pattern that still is, I was doing it for the first 25 years of my life. It takes time to repattern sometimes. So breathing into your belly, and a good way to do that if you don't know how to do it is just lie on your back, relax in your lower abdomen muscles, put your hands on your stomach, and just watch your hands rise and fall. And do that before you go to bed. Once you get really strong in that, you can, throughout your day, find practices, like I said, 4 times a day for 2 minutes at a time, where you're breathing into your belly. So we are sitting in a stoplight. you start breathing into your belly and letting it deflate. And you just bring awareness to that. If you got really good at breathing into your belly, you can simultaneously start extending your exhale. Easiest way to shift your nervous system from fight or flight to relaxation and rest is through your breath. It's by breathing into your belly, into the capacity of your lungs, and extending your exhale longer than your inhale. So if you're, like I said, in your car at a stoplight, breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4 into the belly, and then you exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's as simple as that.
And repeat.
Yeah.
Repeat for a few rounds, like
exactly
3, 5, 10, as long as you can. That makes you feel good. And I love that one. It's just so simple and it always can ground you. It's good to do before or after like meditation as well.
Yep.
Even before you eat a meal can be really helpful to take a few deep breaths and just pay attention. And that can help with your digestion too.
Exactly. It's just bringing your awareness to your breath. And when you bring your awareness to your breath, it brings you to the present moment. Because we are just so addicted with our pasts and futures that we let the present moment pass us by. But if our awareness is on our breath, we're here. We're here in this moment, feeling the sensations of our body. It's a beautiful thing.
It's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that exists, is just presence.
Exactly.
It's where everything you've ever wanted is found in this moment now.
Yeah.
Which that's also a retraining.
It is. And it's,
everything we've learned, we freaking need to retrain.
We need to retrain it all. And that's good. It's part of the journey. It's having fun with it. It's not being like, oh my God, I'm breathing into I'm breathing through my mouth. I'm drooling as I'm sleeping.
This up. I don't know how to breathe. I can't even believe
I'm not doing anything right. The world is against me. No.
It's all about like knowing when you are aware of things is perfect timing for you to be aware of
exactly. And it's beautiful. And it's like, okay, cool, whatever. You lived X amount of years this way. Now you get to switch it up. And when you switch it up, you're just going to feel more happy. And that's an amazing thing because you're going to feel more grounded, you're going to have more energy because you're actually giving your body the opportunity to slow down and regenerate. In doing so, feel better.
Yeah, it's just pushing past the resistance and the ego mind that wants to keep you in your old patterns or self-sabotage. Like, I know this, I'm not going to do it tomorrow.
Exactly.
But when you start to implement the changes and do things that are pushing you forward is where you keep listening to that voice.
Exactly.
And as much as those old patterns want to come in, like willpower and just your higher self will carry you through.
Yeah. And you have to be greater than your body. I love the work of Joe Dispenza. And he always says this. It's like, you have to be greater than your body, greater than your environment, and greater than time. Because your body is patterned. It has the traumas in it. It has the belief systems in it. When you're like, I'm going to start breath tomorrow, it's like, no, you're not. You've been saying this for the past 20 years.
You're going to come home and you were going to sit on the couch and look at your phone.
Eat cheese balls. Right. Why is it always cheese balls the example? I don't know, but it always is.
Right. Just eat a bunch of shit and watch TV and wake up and do it again. That's what your mind is going to tell you.
Yeah. And that's what your body believes because that's what you've done and patterned into it. So you got to be greater than that. You have to make the choice. And the breath will create space in those patterns. When you start having a breathwork practice, it will create space in those patterns and will open up the subconscious more to find out why you are the way you are. And then you can really get into all the goodness and the work that has to be done.
I love that, the creating space. Because often we act on impulse.
Yeah.
And that's where we do things. And, it's like, I know I don't want to eat these cookies tonight, but at that moment, we're like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. And we do it knowing that this isn't really the best thing for me. But when we have space and we create those space between our decisions and the moments, even if we want to do things, it allows us time to sit back and really assess what's going to be good for us. So through breath and meditation are the easiest ways to start creating more space between the moments and decisions that you're making. And that is where you have the opportunity to change. Because if we're just like very impulsive and acting that way all day without thinking, we're just going to like tear shit up.
Exactly. And honestly, that's what everybody's doing right now. Everybody's freaking tearing shit up left and right. Freaking catastrophe.
I'm like, there's certain things I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. Who cares? And then I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah. So and we all have this deep rooted program. I was teaching a breathwork class the other day, and everyone across the board was around. They're like, I'm always going from one thing to the next. And another person would be like, I just don't have enough time. And another person would be like, I feel that I have to keep and being the best at everything. And it all roots around the same idea that everybody thinks they have to be doing. Like, people feel guilty about sitting down for a minute. Even I remember my mom, because I'm one to stand as well. And my mom would stand in the kitchen all night doing stuff. Sometimes she would just be standing. And I finally came to the realization, I got to tell her this as well, because I find myself doing it sometimes as well. I'm not even sitting down, because when I'm standing, I feel like I'm doing something. And if I'm doing something, I'm worthy. It's like that energy behind it, that we all feel like we have to be rushing around doing so many things. And like one of the women the other night, she was just like, I feel guilty if I sit down because there's so many things to do. We need to untrain ourselves out of that mentality using practices like breath.
Well, this new way of living, that's where we're all going.
Yes.
It's these new timelines of not so much this 9-to-5 work mentality. It's like being productive and creating and doing what you love, maybe on your own time, in your own schedule, and like allowing the time for these practices like breathwork and meditation to be the top of your priority list.
Exactly.
Because that's where all the shifts come. And when you fill yourself up first, you're able to help and shift. You just being there, doing these things, your energy is shifting people way more than you know.
Exactly. Being there is a key. Your frequency is emanating out. So just let it
go.
Let it go. Let it flourish.
Flourish the world around you.
Like the beautiful flower that you are.
Let yourself shine.
All right. So that's relaxation technique. So we're not even into like really the breathwork realm yet. That's more, that's just how we should be breathing on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
When you get into more of a yogic breath, it's a beautiful practice as well. When I studied in India, that was the most important thing. They were like, physical posture doesn't matter. It's just there to get you to sit. Meditation, they said meditation obviously matters, but you're never going to get there unless you do the breath. So we'd have huge breath practices, and there's all different types of techniques in yogic breathwork or pranayama, life force energy, where it's nadi shuddhanan, which is alternate nostril breathing, which honestly, I love alternate nostril breathing. It like gives me a high. It's so good, but it balances the masculine and feminine energies. It's inhaling through one nostril and exhaling through the other, and then reversing the pattern. And then you have techniques like Kapalabhati, just like a skull, shining breath. It's a active, I always have to do it before I say it. Active exhale, passive inhale. And it's firing up the solar plexus in the lower chakras, because we're living in those chakras. We want to draw the energy up from those chakras into the heart, throat, third eye, and crown. And then there's Vastrika, which is active inhale, active exhale, Ujjayi breath. There's a bunch of different types of yogic breath that balance the body and clear the meridians and clear the energy channels. And it's also a technique to raise the kundalini energy from the root to the crown.
And that's how you become enlightened.
Yes. No. Oh, if only it were that easy.
Totally.
But those are beautiful, beautiful practices, and they bring relaxation to the body. Again, they activate the parasympathetic nervous system. It brings clarity, inner knowing, revelations, all of these types of positive side effects come about from it. And then it creates your body. It opens your body for a place to then start accessing meditation and higher levels of consciousness on your own without any plant medicines or without any external influences. It's just you and your breath.
Amazing. So that's
Yeah.
like the main, beyond the physical postures of yoga,
Yes.
it comes down to the breath and then the meditation is really what yoga preps you for.
Exactly.
And the more you get into it, you realize that the physical is just where it starts.
Yes, exactly. And if you have an extremely busy mind and you're the person who's like, oh, I can't meditate. I can't meditate. Or you're the yoga person who's like, oh, I can't meditate. Start doing breath work because it prepares you for it and it easily clears your mind. It gives you something to do still. So the thoughts start to have more space between them.
With that being said, let's go into the good stuff, right?
Yes.
Because we like intense things. Trauma release, holotropic, so where does the breath really get super intense?
The breath gets super intense when you start going into these deeper states of breath work, like the ones that Lauren and I hold, our Conscious Awakening breath workshops, where you are, for an extended period of time, breathing in through the mouth, out through the mouth, or in through the nose, out through the nose for an hour or so. And it allows you to reach altered states of consciousness. And when you reach altered states of consciousness, you can meet God, or like we were talking about before, have these enlightened, multidimensional experiences. It also opens up the doorway deeply into the subconscious. So you can also get into the juiciness of all your traumas and past life traumas, of course, as well. All of these energies come out to play.
It is one of those things I think that you need to experience.
Yes.
Because we can talk about it and it sounds kind of crazy of like, really, my breath is going to take me there. I mean, we've done a lot of psychedelics, ayahuasca, mushroom ceremonies, bufo, all the things, and your breath can really be a similar experience. And you create that within, which is so amazing.
Exactly. It's a beautiful thing because, like I just said, it's a plant takes you for a ride. The food that you eat takes you a ride. When you're doing breath work, it's just you, and you have the choice to direct where you want to go with it. If you don't want to go into something, you slow down your breath. And I always say, when you breathe through the nose, it's the gas pedal. It's taking you to the cosmos. When you breathe through the mouth, it's the gas pedal. It's taking you to the cosmos. It's like a space rocket ship. When you breathe through the nose, it's very grounding. It's more of like a break. Not saying that you're not going to get into your traumas or anything that way. You most definitely still can, but it's a more of a grounded energy. And it just opens up this doorway for the unknown to really come into your life. I was doing a holotropic training a couple weeks ago, which is, in my opinion, all the breaths the same. Like you'll see trauma breath, you'll see breathwork awakening, you'll see holotropic, you'll see somatic, you'll see 1,000 names across the board. It's all the same breath. Everybody's just breathing. Sometimes facilitators will have more specific requirements of how they want you to breathe, where in holotropic, same breath, but it's for extended. What makes it different is it's an extended period of time. It's 3 hours. You have a sitter with you. So you have some person next to you, sitting with you, giving you whatever you need. If you want a hug, you get a hug. If you want to get naked and dance around and howl at the moon, they'll hold sheets up around you so no one can see you. Like, it's a very safe space to express yourself. It's very beautiful. And in these spaces, you are free to dive into whatever you want to dive into.
And that happens by creating this hyperventilation state in the brain, or how exactly do we get there?
Yeah, it's, for one, I think intention is the strongest thing behind it, your intention of the breath. But for holotropic, for sure, the Stan Groff is the creator of holotropic, and he used to do LSD studies. And what he noticed, it's in like the 60s or 70s, is when they made LSD illegal, he had to find a different methodology to help people and help people heal. And he noticed that when people are on LSD, they are hyperventilating a lot of the time. Their breathing styles mimic that. And he used that data and information along with all of the data and information from ancient cultures, ancient yogis, ancient South American tribes. They've all been doing breath work since the start of time, So putting those all together, it creates this experience where you transcend, where the brain opens up because you're shedding the ego. You're pushing the ego out of the way, where the kundalini can start to rise and your subconscious can just expand and tap into altered states as well as expanded states of consciousness.
It's so amazing. And when you're in these groups or want to try trauma release or holotropic, there are facilitators always there. It's not something you just go into on your own. It's a very guided experience, which you can make your own. But when Lauren and I do it, we are doing healings and helping people. If I go to them, there's multiple people going around and healing you. If you do holotropic, you have one-to-one. If you choose to do one-on-one, someone sits with you the whole time and is there just for support, or even giving like tips of like, hey, I'm going to put my hand here. Can you breathe into it? Do you want to adjust your body? Let's breathe here. And you can find those little movements really make such a difference. And just knowing there is someone to like support you can help you open up to a whole different level.
Exactly. And it's just being willing to surrender to whatever happens. You can be fighting yourself for an hour straight and all this anger can come up. When we did a breath work in Croatia, there was about like 120 people there, and one guy, all his shit came up. He just felt anger. He's like, I hated you. I hated the way you spoke, the music, everything, because he was processing through so much trauma of anger of growing up. And then the person next to him, his wife, was like, that is the most, he said that's the best, the worst, best thing he's ever done. His wife was like, I became a butterfly. That was the best mermaid. She's like, it was the most enriching and beautiful experience I've ever had. It's just giving you whatever it is that you're ready to shed in layers, peeling the onion back in that moment.
Yeah. And if you have things going on in your life, certain triggers, things that are coming up for you, whether it's like health issues or people, relationships, money, or whatever it is, you'll find that likely those things are going to be the things that are coming up in your session of what you're ready to release and go into. A lot of my breath works recently have been like big inner child healings, which is just what I've needed. I've had other ones where it was more like a party. It's just like kundalini energy, just like feeling freaking awesome going through it. A lot of mine lately have been around the theme of my life, which is allowing my heart to open up. And it all comes back to my inner child of just wanting to fight and not feeling safe to let people in. And it's been really beautiful to get to release those things through the breath, to allow my body to feel safe, to open up, to fully receive love, not just push it away.
Exactly.
And it just mimics what's going on in your life, which I find to be super, super helpful, because you can do the meditations and all the things, but this is like a step deeper.
Yeah. You don't have to think about anything. So that's like a beautiful way to do your inner child works and just clear and process old traumas without really thinking of anything, and just clearing energy that no longer serves you. When I was in my trainings, I had beautiful experiences of like tapping into Christ consciousness energy, and my heart opened in ways that I didn't know were possible, of new emotions, new feelings. I traveled through the cosmos and met all of my guides, and it takes you to these places. If you surrender, keyword, and if you trust the process, it can take you to these deeply transformational places that are exactly what you needed in the moment.
That's sometimes the hardest part. And sometimes my body wants to fight it, and it's like, nope. But then you just keep breathing and pushing through it, and then you pull back, and then you can push through it. And so it's this beautiful like dance sometimes. But the more you can push past resistance, the quicker you heal.
Yeah. And just open up to whatever the universe has to offer and trust everything. Like when I was in my session a couple weeks ago, I was flying high. It was amazing. It was so much love. I was love. I was expanding the universe. It was flying through all of like these dimensions. I needed help coming back down because I could have stayed there forever. But then it was this deep realization as I became grounded that this earth plane is a gift, because you can live up in those higher dimensions, the love, the light, for as long as you want, but you don't get the soul evolution growth that you get here on this planet. The challenges, the fucked up shit, the tumultuous energy that's all around us gives your soul this potent external circumstances to expand and grow. And we are so grateful I am so grateful and so lucky to have experienced all that I've ever experienced on this earth plane. And it is truly a gift. And you can come out of these sessions at times and be like, did that fucking happen? Is that real? Did I just make all that shit up? But the feeling that you get in these experiences speak louder than any belief systems, any words, any ego aspects trying to keep you back in the matrix.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, wherever you're at in your journey, it's all stepping stones. And depending on how you want to take things, if you're not even paying attention to your breath, start to pay attention. Deep breaths in, deep belly breaths.
Extend the exhale.
Or you might have the personality that's like, I'm just going all in. I listen to this and I want to do it. Like, I'm ready. So it's like, listen to your gut, your instinct. Don't let your ego get in the way and tell you can't do it or it's too scary or you don't want to go there.
Your ego will fight it.
Mm-hmm.
But you just got to, honestly, words can't explain. Truly. Like we're trying to explain right now, but
it's an experience.
It's an experience. And you just have to experience it.
Yes. And it's amazing. It's just part of the ride. And I just think it's the coolest thing that we create that from within.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty damn awesome.
Pretty damn awesome. So let's summarize with a couple tips.
Perfect.
Tip
number 1.
Yeah. What would you say? Top tips for embodying and practicing more breath like in your life.
Okay. This is what we're gonna say. This is what I'm gonna say, and Lauren can have what she wants to say. Breathe through your nose and into your belly. Extend your exhale longer than your inhale 4 times throughout your day. Those 3 things. Bring your awareness to your breath on a daily basis. And find yourself a session, a one-on-one, a group class of this bigger experiences, those holotropic experiences, ours is conscious awakening breathwork experiences, those traumatic breathwork experiences that just allow you to dive in. Because that's gonna hook you. That's when you're gonna be like, oh shit. I've never had one person after a breathwork shop or a one-on-one session be like, oh, that was okay.
Yeah, no. Everyone comes back.
They're like, holy fuck.
They're like, when's the next one?
They're like, what happened? I don't even know. My body. It's
We've
wild.
had people just kind of laughing at first. The last session, this guy was like, just kind of laughing at myself at first. He's like, what am I doing here? It's kind of weird. And he's like, and then I just started to get into it. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I'm crying. I'm doing all this weird stuff. Like, this is amazing. You just have to go with it. But I love everything you said. I think the only other thing I'd probably add is practice the pauses in your life. To the practice of your breath or meditation can help you to find those pauses. But the pauses is where we disconnect from our thoughts to realize they aren't us and have a chance to really shift our life and our reality. So using your breath to allow you to pause and see where that takes you.
Yes, the space between the space.
Space between the thoughts
in
the mind. Something to ponder, right?
Ponder about it.
So, yes, I think that pretty much sums it up. Anything else?
No, I'm just laughing at us because Lauren and I over here, we're both like really yelling loud. Even though the mic's right next to us.
So we've probably been screaming this whole time.
I think I have at least. I've been like, it's like no one can hear
me. You do it every time.
I know. I don't know.
Anytime we're on like a Zoom and it's dead quiet, you're like, so, it's like this projection thing that like everybody really needs to hear it.
I feel like I'm teaching a 40-person yoga class every time. I'm going to practice next time to try to. I can't even do it right now.
Be calm.
Be calm. Be calm. Be calm. I'm going to maybe talk a little bit quieter. For some reason, when I talk quiet, I have to go to a different accent.
Just be yourself.
Hello. All right.
Oh my God, we're done. Okay. Talk to you guys next time.
Ta-ta for now.
Keep breathing.
Keep breathing. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. For more information on our classes, events, and retreats, check out our website at yogilawrence.com, linked in the show notes. We love to hear how you are making your own unique wave in the ocean. Connect with us on Instagram at Yogi Lawrence. See you next time.